Hi, everyone. I hope that your lives are going well. You're surely missed by me. I'm excited to continue our journey with biology. So far, we've talked up about how things are organized in biology and how the cell is the single unit of life, and a cluster of cells is going to be tissues. A cluster of tissues makes an organ. A cluster of organs make an organ system, and a cluster of organ systems is going to make an organism. And so we also talked about the first system that we learn in grade 10 science, which is digestive system. And now we're going to talk about the circulatory system. So, in the digestive system, we're talking about how we process food and get energy. And in the circulatory system, we're basically talking about three things. Um, and they all, or these three things, work together so that we can move things around our body. So, once we get all those nutrients, how do we actually transport them places? How do we transport our oxygen? How do we do all of this stuff? And part of that is with the circulatory system. So, in our circulatory system, we're going to have three parts. The first part is the heart. The heart acts as the pump. So, just like any system that you might have, so like a water system or car system, there needs to be some sort of pump that's going to cause flow to happen. The second thing is blood. Blood is actually the liquid that's going to transport things throughout the whole system. And then the third thing is the blood vessels. So that's how we actually move things throughout the system. It's the pathways. Okay. So if I'm talking about the heart is made up of different tissues actually. So there's four tissues in the heart. The first one is epithelial tissue, like skin tissues, and that helps to line the heart. The next one is nerve tissue, which is going to make the heart beat. So that it's going to have that contraction and release motion. Then we have connective tissue, which is our blood. So that's going to transport everything. It's going to connect everything. And we actually have specific types of tissues called cardiomuscular tissues. And here in our cardiac muscular tissues, or CMTs, you only see these in heart muscles. And the whole point is that they're extremely specialized. They're specialized cells. So they're going to contract all at once so that we can push our blood around. Okay. And I've put this YouTube video on our learning log for this week just so that you can have a look about it. It's basically how everything is going to work in the heart. Our heart is super unique in that it keeps a regular beat. It's the best musician out of all of us. And this beat changes. It knows to speed up with physical activity. It's going to pump faster, cause us to have some sort of anxiety or cardiac reaction to stress, temperature, and health. Okay, so if it gets really, really hot, we might get super sweaty. Our heart might race a little bit. If it's cold, it's going to slow down so that we can try to slow how the cold blood is moving throughout our body. Okay. Um, our heart is covered by a smooth layer of epithelial cells. So it's very, very smooth, very, very connective. On the outside, this allows friction to be reduced, and it also helps to protect the heart from damage from the lungs. And the reason why it needs to do that is because our lungs are constantly expanding and contracting with air. That smooth layer of epithelial cells is also super important for allowing blood to flow more easily. So imagine that you have a straw and you're trying to drink your drink, so chocolate milk or apple juice through your straw. And if you look inside the straw, you can see that it's super smooth. So that liquid is flowing really nicely. Now, imagine that inside of the straw, instead of having liquid, there was actually, have any of you had bubble tea? So now there's going to be chunks of that gelatin, so chunks of that bubble in there. The liquid doesn't flow as smoothly. There's a disruption in that tube. The same thing happens inside of our blood vessels if we don't have that smooth epithelial cell layer. Okay. So today's lesson is actually two parts because it's going to take a really long time to talk about the blood vessels and everything. So you're going to complete the worksheet components of blood for today's lesson. That's going to help kind of round out that lesson so that you're doing that hour of work or the 3 hours of work a week. Let me know if you have any questions. Remember that you can type them in on that Google Doc, send me an email. But yeah, I hope that you guys are all doing well. I miss you all.